Global development is increasingly being understood as a result of the interaction between technical innovation and institutional change. The U.S. Global Development Lab is one of such innovation hubs that help take smart risks to test new ideas. Technical advisor, Global Development Lab of U.S. Agency for International Development, Jill Moss, joins us to discuss the impact of Global Development Lab.
Jill, I'd like to welcome you to Tech Trends.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be on Tech Trends.
So tell me, what's been your role around the African ecosystem?
I currently work for USAID, which is a United States federal agency that provides donor assistance. I work in West Africa. That's my portfolio. In the Global Development Lab at USAID, where I work, we're trying to stimulate and nudge our bureaus and our missions around the world to utilize science, technology, innovation, and partnerships more. We recognize that science and research and data-driven evidence helps us prove impact. And technology is a way of the future, and that we're seeing a lot of technological advances that we should be adopting in our development work. The last thing that the lab does is work on partnerships. We recognize that our global development dollars go a lot further when we work in partnership. And that could be public-private partnerships, that could be government-to-government partnerships. So my portfolio at USAID's Global Development Lab is West Africa. To answer your question, CFA, I am in the region regularly, meeting with innovators, working with our missions, trying to nudge forward the development enterprise using science, technology, innovation, and partnership.
So Jill, let's look at some of your experience around West Africa.
Okay.
Which of the governments have you found to be more receptive to new innovations, to technologies, from your experience?
Well, I can't single out any one government. I think all governments are eager to embrace innovation as a means to stimulate economic growth, as a means to partner potentially with the United States in creating an environment for sustainability, for advancement, development advancement, economic advancement. I've seen in Liberia, for example, a significant weighing in, leaning in around health issues, particularly following the Ebola crisis. We saw that in the Global Development Lab's work across West Africa in the Ebola crisis response work. So Liberia, Sierra Leone, Guinea have all been very eager to embrace the new modern methods of delivering health services. In Ghana, I've seen a significant interest in the use of digital financial payments and mobile money. So the ecosystem in Accra and parts of Ghana to leverage digital financial services is evolving rapidly. Here in Nigeria, I'm so inspired by the ecosystem that this country is generating, is percolating. I think that the government is doing its due diligence to create a regulatory environment where innovators can innovate, to convene and to create ecosystems that allow for entrepreneurs to identify potential economic opportunities. So I've been across the region over the 4 years, and it is always an anomaly in my mind at every time I return, seeing how much more advanced this part of Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, is building to become a real powerhouse.
Okay, you've done a lot of work around internet security, privacy issues.
Yep.
What informed your decision?
I used to work for the Voice of America. VOA, I believe, is a channel's affiliate station. So the Voice of America falls under a government agency called the Broadcasting Board of Governors. And the BBG has an internet censorship, internet freedom program. And I worked on that program for a number of years. And what the BBG provides is tools and technology to deliver content into denied cyber environments. So let's say in China, there's a block on Facebook. There's a block on certain portals that anyone living in China can't have access to. So the BBG would provide to users proxy networks or VPN clients or the Tor anonymity network. These are solutions that can give people access to information by circumventing blocks and censors around content that really we believe in the United States people should have access to.
Startups ecosystem is emerging gradually. Jill shares her view on startups she has met.
Well, my first trip to Nigeria was in 2013, and at that time I did an assessment of the ICT environment. Since then, over the last 3 years, I've seen a considerable change in this particular ecosystem. Connectivity has become far more ubiquitous in certain urban environments, and that's a good thing. We're seeing more incubators in Nigeria now, and those incubators are a necessity in order for innovation to grow. The innovators themselves, well, I'm always inspired to meet some of them. For example, we went to, this past week, the new GE Garage, which is an incubator space that is leveraging 3D printing for the manufacture of goods that could ultimately, over time, replace imports that are coming into Nigeria. The other innovator that I met that I was truly inspired by, Judith, is she's working in a new space that I foresee to be a real future-leaning opportunity in Nigeria, and it's in the content creation environment, the content creation space. This is where Channels, I think, is going to be in 10 years. What she's doing is she's using augmented reality content. So if you're looking at a website and you see augmented reality, it's that content that pops out at you. In gaming, you can see it in gaming, or in, you know, if you're playing a video game, you see augmented reality content or virtual reality content. It's just added content to provide you a better user experience. So Judith is starting an enterprise to use virtual reality content, and I believe this is a growth space for Nigeria. I'm very inspired by what she, a woman in tech, is doing.
Finally, just before I let you go, is there any sort of partnership between USAID and the Nigerian government that is coming up soon?
Well, I can tell you about an initiative that is coming to Lagos in March 2017. It's called Geeks on a Plane. Geeks on a Plane is an inspiration that came out of President Obama's Global Entrepreneurship Summit events and the President's initiative for entrepreneurship evolution and development through the Global Entrepreneurship Summits that have been held around the world over the last few years. The last one was held in Silicon Valley, and at the end of that Silicon Valley event, the President announced, the White House announced, Geeks on a Plane. So who are these geeks coming to Lagos? Essentially, they are Silicon Valley-based investors, maybe venture capitalists, maybe high-valued individuals, but they're the kind of investors who are interested in Africa. They want to know more about the ecosystem, what kind of innovations are generating and percolating here, and where there's opportunity potentially for investment.
Thank you for being on Tech Trends today.
Thank you, CFA.
And all the best as you go back home.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
That's all we have for you on this edition of the show. Let's continue the conversation online, so do follow us on social media. You can watch these and other editions of the show on the Channels TV YouTube account or via my blog, techsmart.ng. For Tech Trends, I am Chukwuemeka Agbata.